سيد أنا رجعت على لبنان، أتمنى أنك ترجع كمان على لبنان.
قرار صادر من مجلس الجامعة تسمية حزب الله الإرهابي.
Good afternoon. You're watching the English newscast on Future Television. I'm Yumna Nofal, and these are today's top stories. Residents of two Palestinian refugee camps in southern Lebanon mourn the death of a senior Fatah official a day after his assassination in a car bomb attack. An Australian mother and TV crew charged with kidnapping her two children in Beirut after a custody dispute with the Lebanese father. And Lebanese officials mark the 41st anniversary of the start of Lebanon's 15-year civil war. Residents of two Palestinian refugee camps in southern Lebanon mourned the death of a senior Fatah official, Fadi Zaidan, one day after his assassination in a car bomb attack. Both the Miye Miye and Ain al-Hilwe camps east of the southern city of Saida went on a general strike, and all offices belonging to UNRWA in the area were shut down. Zaidan, who was the Fatah movement secretary in the Miye Miye camp, was killed after a bomb placed in his BMW went off at the All-American roundabout close to the entrance of Ain al-Hilwe. The Lebanese army is currently investigating the attack in coordination with the Fatah movement. The commander of a joint PLO security force, Munir Makta, warned that Zaidan's assassination is intended to disrupt the security situation in southern Lebanon. Lebanese officials mark the 41st anniversary of the start of Lebanon's 15-year civil war, the remnants of which still haunt the country's political landscape and society till this day. Painful anniversary is a moment to remember the innocent victims of the war and to stand in solidarity with the disabled as they reiterate their demand to know what the fate of those who went missing is. Future Movement leader Saad Hariri said this on Twitter. The multifaceted conflict, which lasted from April 1975 and ended in October 1990, pitted right-wing Lebanese Christian and pan-Arabist Muslim factions against each other. The Ta'if Accord, a national reconciliation agreement which was signed by Lebanese warring factions in Saudi Arabia, finally put an end to the war, dissolving or weakening most militias and giving more power to Syria and Lebanon. At least 150,000 people are believed to have been killed, and at least 1 million people left the country. An Australian mother and TV crew who were in Beirut to film the woman's efforts to take her children back to Australia after a custody dispute with the Lebanese father were charged with involvement in kidnapping by a Lebanese prosecutor a day earlier. They are set to appear in front of a judge for a hearing session. The mother and a 4-member Channel 9 crew have been detained in Beirut since last Wednesday after authorities scuppered their attempt to take the woman's 2 children, aged 5 and 3, back to Australia. Unlike Australia, Lebanon is not a signatory of the Hague Convention on the civil aspects of international child abduction, which allows for children normally resident in one location to be returned if taken by a relative. Australian Foreign Minister Julie Bishop said on Saturday she could not understate the seriousness with which Lebanese authorities are viewing the case, and added that Canberra was handling it very carefully.
Going through a legal process there at the moment. They've been questioned by the judge in Lebanon. They're receiving all the full consular support from our diplomats and consular officials in Beirut, and so we are providing them with every support. But of course, we respect the Lebanese legal system and their right to investigate and take proceedings if they feel offences have been committed. But we support Australians who find themselves in these difficulties and these circumstances right around the world, and of course we're doing that with respect to the 60 Minutes crew in Beirut at the moment.
Syrians head to polls in areas controlled by President Bashar Assad's regime for parliamentary elections that are dismissed by the opposition as illegitimate. The vote coincides with the beginning of another round of UN-brokered peace talks in Geneva aimed at ending this devastating 5-year conflict now. Around 7,200 polling stations open in government-held areas, and they will remain open for 12 hours unless the Electoral Commission decides to extend the deadline. Assad's Ba'ath Party, which has controlled the country for more than half a century, is expected to extend its dominance of parliament, although several parties are participating in the poll. Coming up next, actor turned director Jon Favreau brings Disney's 1967 classic, The Jungle Book, to life. Stay with us. We'll be right back.